was studying at the University of Aleppo. I was studying Banking Institute, economics, and English. Then my family house was bombed 3 times. Oh my gosh, I will never get the opportunity to finish my studies. I'm a stateless person. I don't have any document that prove who I am. I was working as a biomedical engineer before the war. When I moved to Chile, I used to speak 4 languages, and I didn't find a job. These are the stories and the voices behind the huge statistics. Voices I've listened to and recorded around the world. Voices that show how geography has the power to draw and define our bodies and our lives. How lines on a map can become gigantic invisible walls that erase identity. And so, how do you survive in a world of verification without being able to prove who you are? Today, over 850 million people around the world have no means to prove their identity. That's like 10 times the population of Italy, and roughly the combined population of Italy, France, Germany, the UK, and Spain. And over 123 million were forcibly displaced because of wars, political religious persecutions, climate change, losing access to vital personal documents such as graduated or present student certificates. So the loss of physical academic records and the fact that titles are not recognized because of inconsistencies of validation processes between countries make it almost impossible to rebuild a life, shutting people out of education, job opportunities, and dignity, all because of borders. But if you think about it, political borders are abstract. They are human inventions. When we look at the map, those natural lines became through history fixed territorial lines of power that do not match natural borders, showing how power and nationalism intensified conflict and the visible and invisible manifestation of violence at different scales. That's what I experienced by living in a war zone where struggle for rights is about the power and control imposed through these borders over people. And so, in this fight for equality, who is justice for? Who get rights in the land of money, in the world of money? Take water, for example, the bloodstream of our planet and essence of human survival on Earth. Our international water law still follow outdated rules like first in time, first in right, meaning whoever use water first, own it. And this, of course, generates violence, conflict, supremacy, colonization, and inequalities more and more. But we no longer live in an isolated nation. All the conflict and wars and climate disaster happening today prove how deeply interconnected we are from country to country, from continent to continent. And yet, our life, and especially life of the most vulnerable one, is still governed by outdated systems that divide instead of unite. And so, today more than ever, we must redesign beyond the old ideas of domination and control. We must design beyond geographical borders. So, something that I've learned in science, in life, is that nothing on Earth, nothing in nature works in isolation. Life exists only through constant relationships. And I want to tell you a fact about the Amazon rainforest. So because of the heavy rains washing away vital minerals from the soil, This forest survival is constantly threatened. But surprisingly, from the opposite side of the world, the Sahara Desert comes and carries tens of millions of tons of dust across the ocean to feed the Amazon with the mineral it needs. We are talking about two opposite environments, one dry, one wet, bound together in an invisible cooperation, because nature has no borders, and cooperation means survival. And this is my mission, taking inspiration from nature, the way nature works, to build systems that restore that connection, where it has been broken by barrier, by borders, by systems. And I want to return now to those voices of Karim, Yara, George, and millions of others, witnesses of broken system or a lack of a connected one. Witnesses of power claimed over a piece of land, generating wars, displacement, natural destruction, and inequalities. Witnesses of broken system that leaves millions of young talent without access to education because their certificates are lost. These are all voices witnessing that the system we build are failing, and we must change them now. Because we always talk about this word, innovation. But what do we really mean by innovation today when so many so-called human innovation and progress in technology, fashion industries have deepened inequalities and geographical division more and more? And that's because as humans, we never imagine maybe progress as something beneficial for the entire ecosystem. And yet, not even for all humans, only for a lucky side of the world. And so, if progress has divided us until now, then today's mission is clear. We must build systems that connect, cooperate, and recognize that we are part of the ecosystem. We are part of nature. And this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a universal system for study validation, turning education and identity into undeniable human rights. Imagine this. Right now, every country has its own process to validate academic data, a process that doesn't recognize others, doesn't speak the same language. It's like if at one point every country will request you a different document and a different process to access the country. We would be able to travel more, almost no one. And that is exactly what happened when we need to validate academic data across borders, where borders again blocks futures. But if you think about it, in the past, we invented one document, one process, to travel around the world with ease. And so, what I aim to do for education today is what the passport did in the past for traveling. Introducing a universal system for study validation through an academic passport to protect our identity. The new digital passport contains within it not only personal data, but also academic data as a unique part of our identity. Data are logged and validated through a blockchain platform, allowing students to provide all their data for any host universities in the world. This is a system that allows institutions to support one another, especially in times of wars. A system that protects the right to learn and the right to belong. And so, by setting a new global standard for education, this system can help millions of young refugees, displaced, and students all over the world rebuilding our life. It can empower universities by introducing a new standard method to validate academic data, so reduce bureaucracy, give governments reliability, and even in times of war, so climate disaster like tsunami, give the chance to protect our academic identity. But this is more than a system. This is a shift. This is a global move towards an accessible and equitable education for all. a borderless future where education and identity are never lost anymore. And so, in this new age of care, this is my invitation to reimagine a new eco-way of human progress on Earth, and to cooperate the same way nature does, because cooperation is not just an option anymore, it's law of survival. Thank you.